The voice that came from the pot. On the old wisdom in domestic things. A widow cooking alone in her kitchen on a winter evening heard a voice come up from the cooking pot. She had been a widow for 2 years. She had not, in those 2 years, been particularly visited by voices. She had been mostly alone. She had cooked for herself in the evenings, small meals, made with care, eaten at the kitchen table by the fire. She had not in 2 years gone hungry. She had also not in 2 years particularly wanted to live. The pot was an old iron pot. She had cooked in it for 4 to 5 years. It had been a wedding gift from her husband's mother, long dead. It had cooked in its long life perhaps 50,000 meals. It was, by anyone's standards, an experienced pot. The voice came up from it on the evening in question without warning. The voice said, "Daughter." The widow froze, ladle in hand. The voice said, "I have been wanting to speak with you for some time. You have been alone enough. You are ready to hear me. Sit down." The widow sat down slowly on the small stool by the fire. The voice was old. It was older than any voice she had heard in her life. It was not the voice of her dead husband, nor of her dead mother, nor of her dead mother-in-law. It was older than any of them. It was somehow the voice of the kitchen itself, the voice of all the meals the kitchen had cooked, and all the women who had cooked them, and all the men who had eaten them, condensed into a single voice that was coming up from the pot. "What do you want?" said the widow. "I want to tell you what your life has been," said the voice. "You have not been able to see it. You have been too close to it. You have lived it. You have not understood it. I have watched from the pot for 45 years. I have seen everything. I will tell you, if you can bear it, what you have been doing." The widow could bear it. The voice spoke for an hour. It told her about her marriage. It told her about her children who had grown and gone. It told her about her small kindnesses, which had been more numerous than she remembered. It told her about her small cruelties, which had also been more numerous than she remembered, and which she had not, in her grief, properly accounted for. It told her about her work. It told her about her secret loves and her secret refusals. It told her by the end of the hour the shape of her life. The shape was not what she had thought it was. She had thought her life had been the life of a wife and mother, and had ended, in some essential sense, on the day her husband had died. The voice told her that this was not what her life had been. Her life had been, all along, the life of a woman who had cooked. The cooking had been the center. The husband had been part of it. The children had been part of it. But the cooking had been older than the husband, older than the children, and would be older than her widowhood. The cooking would continue in some form even after she died. The pot would go to her granddaughter, who would not at first understand what she had been given. The voice told her, "You have not, as you think, finished. You have been a woman who cooks for 50 years. You are still a woman who cooks. You have this evening cooked a small meal for yourself. The meal is good. The meal is what you have always done. The meal is your life. You are still living. Your life has not ended. Your life has only recently lost one of its eaters." The widow wept. She wept for a long time. The voice waited. When she had stopped, the voice said, "I will not speak again. I have come this once. Once is sometimes enough. You will hear me from now on in everything that simmers. You will not need me to use words. You will know what I have said. I have left it in you. Good night." The voice was gone. The widow sat by the fire until very late. She finished her meal. She washed the pot. She put it away. She lived for 15 more years. She cooked in those years with a different attention. She had been told once what the cooking had been. She did not need to be told again. She made small meals for herself. She made occasionally larger meals for her granddaughter when the granddaughter visited. She fed the neighbors' children when they came in cold from the snow. She taught a young woman, the daughter of a friend, to make a particular soup that had been in the widow's family for 6 generations. She gave the pot on her 78th birthday to her granddaughter. The granddaughter did not at the time understand what she had been given. She would in time hear the voice herself. She would be by then ready to hear it. The pot would come up to her in her own kitchen on her own winter evening in her own quiet hour. It would say, "Daughter." It would say everything else in its own time. The voice was patient. It had been speaking from kitchen to kitchen for many centuries. It would continue, the widow understood, long after she was gone. She was grateful to have been, for 1 hour in her 73rd year, one of its kitchens. The voice in the cooking pot is older than you. It is older than the kitchen. It is the voice of every woman who ever cooked in the line, condensed. It will speak once when you are alone enough to hear. It will tell you what your life has been. It will leave the knowing in you. It will not speak again. You will hear it after that. In everything that simmers, the pot will pass to your granddaughter. The voice will come up for her in her own time.